Well, I mentioned him earlier, and we're so pleased to be able to bring him on right now. I thought he asked some great questions, and he's been doing an awesome job in covering President Trump. Our White House correspondent for Real America's Voice, the one and only Brian Glenn, is joining us here from beautiful Mar-A-Lago. Hey, Brian.
Well, we're just down the street from there, but we are in sunny South Florida. It's great to be here. We left D.C. yesterday, and it wasn't quite as warm as it is right now, but it's certainly beautiful here in South Florida.
Brian, I loved your questions yesterday. The first one to President Trump about his legacy, and I had written a column recently that I said that peace would be President Trump's greatest achievement, and I was really glad to hear him say that, peacemaker was a title that he wanted in his legacy, and I think he's a man of peace. He should have received the Nobel Peace Prize, Brian, for what he did in his first term, and what he's trying to do here is so difficult, only he can do it, Brian. That's my view.
Yeah, and I wanted to point that out in that room in front of everyone, that he said it on the campaign trail, and you and I did many rallies where he said that speech about being the peacemaker. It wanted to be his legacy,
right?
Not only ending this war, but not getting us into any other foreign wars. And that was the meat of my question. I think he liked the question, obviously. He did thank me for asking it. But at the end of the day, that's what that meeting was scheduled to do, was to bring these two countries together for peace.
And I love the fact that he's committed to that. He's not going to give up. I think he's going to achieve a peace here. And again, I've always thought he should receive the Nobel Peace Prize, and this is another reason why he should. Now, your second question was one that a lot of us have been asking for years now. What's the deal with President Zelensky not dressing appropriately for these meetings? And you're getting a lot of hate from around the world from supporters of President Zelensky. But it was a very good question, Brian, and one that a lot of us have been asking. So I'm glad you asked him.
Well, you know what? I wasn't trying to be snarky with it. I was simply just wanting to know, because I feel like sometimes you can judge a book by its cover. And the way he has approached these meetings, the way he's been to Capitol Hill prior to that visit, wearing the green jumpsuit, going around asking basically for money. And you're in the highest office of the highest government in the world. And I was thinking to myself, we've already sent you, some say, close to $300 million in aid. Can you not put on a coat and tie and look presentable and at least outwardly show your respect for the office and for all of Americans? And I think, Jeff, that question really reflected what he felt inside. And we later found out through the dialogue with J.D. Vance, Vice President Vance, and President Trump, that when that last 8 minutes of that press conference was straight fire, and that was pure emotion coming out of everyone. So it is about being respectable, and it is about, perhaps being appreciative of what the U.S. taxpayers have given you the last 3.5, 4 years.
I remember back in 2019 when he met President Trump, he had a coat and tie on. I mean, he wore a suit. So now, since the war started, he's been, dressing in fatigues and dressing in tracksuits and that kind of thing. And I just think you're right. It would show respect to the country that's given him $350 billion or however much we've given him, that, he respects the office, respects the people, and is going to dress appropriately. He called it a costume, which I thought was ridiculous, but that's what he said. So anyway, I feel for you. I know you're getting a lot of...
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of heat from that, obviously. I was just going to say, that's the costume is what he calls his attire. I was told in Ukrainian culture, they often refer to it as a costume. I don't know if he was just trying to play that up, but I am getting a lot of criticism for asking that question, mostly from people, obviously, who probably hated President Trump from day one. They don't like him. They never will like him. And they fully support the involvement in Ukraine. And they, of course, a lot of hate from overseas, too. But equal time, though, I have gotten a lot of support for asking that question. A lot of people say, hey, we've all been thinking about that. So I did what I did, but I'm not going to say it does not come with a little bit of a price on getting trolled on social media.
I'm giving you nothing but support, my friend. I think you're doing an amazing job. I'm so glad that you're part of this coverage of President Trump. It's so refreshing to see someone like you covering President Trump as opposed to what we see from some of these legacy media outlets. We have about 30 seconds left. How do you enjoy this whole thing? Is this, yeah.
I was going to show you real quick.
Yeah.
We got 30 seconds. We had some fans pull up in the parking lot where we're at. I want to get their thoughts. 30 seconds. What did you think about President Trump yesterday in the Oval Office with Zelensky?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. Zelensky deserved everything he got from President Trump. He let him know where America stands, and America stands with Trump. America's back. It's good to see the president back.
Actually, look at his stuff really quickly, Jeff. It's got the great President Trump mannequin there. You guys are out today. You've got your shorts on, Trump 2028. He's got the shirt. Jeff, I know you're running out of time, but I can't help but just give a shout out to our friends here that saw us in this parking lot setting up. But it's been an amazing day and a half here on the trail with President Trump. We fly back to D.C. tomorrow. All content, you can find me at Brian Glenn TV on social media. I'll post it up there as well.